Jolt, what up? Hey guys, this month we're going through the book of Psalms in the Bible. You see, the Bible is this collection of 66 different books written by a whole bunch of different authors, all trying to teach us about God. And the book of Psalms is one of the most unique books because it's this collection of poems and songs, which is where we get psalms, and they all teach us about God. Now, have you ever felt just stuck in a situation? Like you're trying to do something and you just can't, and you feel stuck, or there's somewhere you're really trying to go and you just can't get there because you're stuck. Like recently I was traveling and we were at this airport and we were stuck. Our flight got canceled, there was these storms, and finally we get on the plane and then the plane is stuck and can't take off, and it was awful. We were stuck. We started feeling super just overwhelmed, like what are we gonna do? Well, one of the cool parts about the book of Psalms is there's poems and songs about almost everything in life, including these situations where we feel just overwhelmed, where we feel kind of stuck in life. One we're going to look at today is Psalm 103, and David wrote this one, King David, and he was looking back on a lot of the times in his life when he felt this way, where he felt stuck, where he felt overwhelmed. He had these big battles and he was overwhelmed by the size of the enemy, or some other mistakes he had made in life that made him just feel overwhelmed about life. He was remembering to a lot of the tough times in his life. And towards the end of his life, as he's remembering all of these things, he writes this psalm. And at the end of the psalm, Psalm 103 verse 8, he says this: "The Lord is compassionate and merciful, slow to get angry, and filled with unfailing love." A lot of times when we think about worship, we only think about singing. And that's a big part of it. Like a big part of worship is singing, but worship is so much more than that. And even when we're singing, sometimes we forget why. We get distracted by other things. We forget why we're worshiping in the first place. One of the things I think David was doing in this psalm was remembering not only the tough times in life when he felt overwhelmed, but remembering what God did in those moments. See, a big part of worship is remembering what God has done for us. Our big idea today is we can worship by remembering what God has done. We can look back on our life and remember the things God has done for us. We can listen to stories from other people and remember what God has done. We can remember stories from the Bible to remember what God has done. And when we remember those things, it can help bring us peace, and it can make us feel a little less overwhelmed when we're in those moments. We can remember that God is full of unfailing love. And remembering what God has done, remembering that He is full of unfailing love, perfect love, is a great way to worship. So this week, remember what God has done. Find some time, find some space, think about it. Remember what God has done for you. That, like David said, God is full of unfailing love. I think a fly just flew on the camera. It's awesome.